Well, all right, kiddos, it's time to sharpen up those edges and grease up your chains. We are going to live it up with mountain life. Dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, mountain lifers? How's your summer going? Is it all that you dreamed it would be? Do you feel relaxed, energized? Are you getting all that vitamin D? How many weddings do you have to attend this year? Is your suit clean? Are you the maid of honor? Are you engaged? Skip the wedding, I say, if you're engaged, and put that money towards a house, or a honeymoon, or a new boat, or a tent even. I got 2 tents that lasted longer than a lot of marriages these days. Just saying. Welcome to Live It Up with Mountain Life. My name is Feet Banks, and today on the show we are not going to talk about weddings anymore, and we're barely even going to talk about summer, because snowboarder Bryce Barnes is joining us, and we're going to talk about shredding pow, the depths of bottomless corn when you snowboard in Morocco, hard boots, and what it's like to be on the path to become the first ever black person to be an accredited guide with the American Mountain Guides Association. Which seems kind of crazy, right? 332 million people living in America right now, not one black AMGA guide. But also I contacted the Association of Canadian Mountain Guides, and while they couldn't be 100% sure, it doesn't seem like there are any fully certified black ACMG guides up here in the Great White North either. Though there are many black, indigenous, or people of color working as guides with other certifications like rock guides, hiking guides, climbing gym instructors, there might not be any full-pull mountain guides. So obviously, it's high time that all changed. But before we get into that and a bunch more stuff with Bryce, let's have a quick word from our partners over at Jack Wolfskin, makers of quality, sustainable outdoor clothing, gear, and footwear. Hey, mountain lifers. Do you know about Jack Wolfskin? For almost 40 years, the Jack Wolfskin name and paw print have been a symbol of their trailblazing spirit and regard for nature. Inspired by an expedition in northern Canada way back in 1981, they have led the pack with innovative, eco-conscious technologies, a commitment to social responsibility, and forward-thinking outdoor apparel and equipment designs. If you haven't seen the Jack Wolfskin paw print before, it's because they've only just completed their newest den here in North America. Jack Wolfskin will see you in the wild, wherever that is for you. Well, all right. We're psyched to have Jack Wolfskin continuing to support this podcast and these kinds of conversations. Plus, I just hooked my kid up with a Jack Wolfskin Pre-Light Alpha jacket, and it's a badass wind-breaking insulating layer that's kind of perfect for those cool summer nights by the river. But okay, Bryce Barnes is on the show today, zooming in from up in Alaska, where he's spending the summer working as a canoe guide and continuing to train for his full mountain certification. Bryce grew up as a snowboarder in Maine, where he got a big enough taste of the radness of the mountains that he's dedicated the rest of his life to getting out there and getting after it. Last spring, he accompanied a team of 12 black skiers and snowboarders on the trip of a lifetime, shredding in Africa. But not Kilimanjaro, which is what I thought too. No, Bryce and the crew were actually in the Atlas Mountains, a 2,500 kilometer, that's 1,600 mile, long chain of peaks crossing through Algeria, Tunisia, and where Bryce was, Morocco. The highest peak in the range is 4,167 meters, which is over 13,600 feet. So basically almost 2 Whistler Mountains stacked on top of each other. We get into all this and more. And sure, I know we're talking about snow in the summertime, but we talk about canoeing too. And also, this is mountain life. We love snow, and so do you. Dropping in with Bryce Barnes. Dude, we're going to talk about your hair, but we're going to talk about that later on. Bryce Barnes, thanks for taking the time. You're up in Alaska, or where are you coming to us from?
Yeah, I'm in Juneau, so South Alaska, Southeast Alaska, very much Alaska. We just had 18 and a half hours of sunlight yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, nice. Longest day of the year.
Longest day of the year. It happened. Now it's all downhill, right?
What are you doing up there? Are you shredding, or is there still rideable terrain in the Alaskan mountains?
Exactly. So that's actually why I moved out here last summer, was the year-round snowpack. You can ski. I mean, last summer I skied into September, and I mean, it wasn't great in September, but I was skiing in September. I was snowboarding in September.
Yeah.
But I guide up here. I'm a canoe and glacier guide, canoeing across the lake out to a glacier, and then walking around on the glacier and canoe back. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really easy, cushy job.
Yeah. Well, anytime you're getting paid to canoe, you can't go wrong there.
No, absolutely not.
So,
But that's what I've been doing in Alaska mostly.
and I read that one of your like, sort of goals is to become the first Black AMGA ski guide. So,
Yeah,
are you taking courses throughout the year up there too, or does that play into that goal as well?
exactly. So it's there aren't any AMGA courses in Alaska that I can take yet. There's an advanced ski guide course that I think I'm like 3 years away from taking that. But the big mission here is getting all the experience that I can in massive terrain. Um, a lot of what goes into being accepted into these courses is just having the experience before you can get accepted into the course. So
Right.
that's what I was trying to put in to myself here is just all this time in the backcountry and yeah, working for being the first Black AMGA ski guide.
That,
It's going to be a long process or a little bit longer than just the snap of a finger and say, hey, like I'm this new AMGA ski guide, but it's definitely coming. I just finished my Alpine skills course 2 weeks ago. Really, really excited. It's just going to be moving up the chain from there.
awesome. How long was that? How long has that goal been on your hit list? Is that a pretty new thing or?
It is fairly new. It's only been in the works for maybe 2 years now. And the first year was just on the wait list for all these courses. It was a pretty backed up wait list. But I finally got the tap on the shoulder. Somebody dropped out of a course and I got to go take that course. Um, and that was, I mean, it was incredible. I was up on Mount Baker for 3 days. We were down in Washington on an island doing ground school on this mountain on an island. That was a lot of fun. Uh, can't wait for the ski guide course. I think it's like the ski guide course this winter. If I can get another weasel in off the wait list, because that's all I'm on right now.
You're a snowboarder, or do you also ski as well?
No, I just snowboard, but I snowboard in hard boots. So I'm like one binding swap from being a skier.
Right.
But then to get the IFMGA, the International Federation of Mountain Guides, to get that certification, I will need to pass a day on skis. So just have to clip in for one day at least.
Just crush it on the split board, split up the split board and go for it. I want to talk about hard boots in a second, but I'm gonna pause because I seen Eric just jumped in. We must just jump the gun on the conversation. So I'm gonna pause the official thing here. The hard boots, obviously, for mountaineering, that's gonna give you a bit of that was your decision, or did you grow up riding hard boots?
Nope, I was in soft boots my whole life until I was climbing up. I think it was in Tuckerman Ravine on the East Coast on Mount Washington. I was going up the lip, so climbing up one of the steepest faces on the whole in the whole bowl. And my partner was below me, and he, as I climbed past him, he was like, "Dude, your crampons are just separating from your boots." And I was, dude, like I know, like I don't need to hear this right now. This is a no fall zone. I know that it's a no fall zone, and I know my crampons are coming off my feet. So it was a little bit of ice climbing that I did that season, and I was,
Yeah.
totally against hard boots in the technical backcountry. Um, and as soon as I swapped over to hard boots, touring is so much easier. I feel fast and smooth. It's like aerodynamic almost. But then as soon as you put a crampon on, you can just walk up anything.
Yeah.
It's might as well be an ice climber.
Right.
I feel very confident on all the steepest slopes now.
And if you're just doing a resort day with your buddies, it's still hard boots, or do people make fun of you for that?
I do get made fun of for that. I would love to have soft boots on a board, but all of my boards right now are split boards,
Right, right.
and I have only got pin bindings on all of my split boards. So I haven't used my soft boots, like I guess for just over a year and a half, 2 years almost. Really sucks. I really want another pair of soft boots, but it's
Well, we'll get the guys at the agency working for you then.
let's go. Let's go.
um,
It's
you grew up in Maine, right? That's
yeah,
so,
yeah, long ways from Alaska.
yeah.
Um,
How was that? What was there? I mean, obviously you're young enough, snowboarding was well established. Um, how did you get in? How did you end up as a snowboarder in Maine?
so it really started with just like a Walmart plastic board with like the straps that you slide your feet into. Um, I got on one of those when I was like 5, and I don't know what about it stuck, but it all stuck with me. And when I was in the second grade, we moved to this town in central Maine, and they had this little program where they bust you from the elementary school to this little ski hill in town. Only on Fridays though. I wish it was every single day of the week, but it's only on Fridays. And I took my lessons there for the first time, and I just hated the lessons. I was coming home crying every day. Hated the lessons, kept going back, couldn't stop. And I've not taken a season off since I was 5, and that fire just got ignited for snowboarding, and it went from just skiing at this little 400-foot slope, uh, building little setups at my grandparents' house and in some of the fields, and just extending further and farther. And that's just I've extended as far as I can. I feel like sometimes. Uh,
Yeah.
Getting heli drops out into the backcountry in Alaska now, and skiing all the way back. It's just
Was it
I
a
could not have imagined this years ago.
was that something that your family was into? Were your folks skiers, or did you have older brothers or sisters that would, with you to the hill, or were you solo on that?
Yeah, I was pretty much solo. My sister skied for a little bit, my little sister. My parents, they did not ski. My grandparents do not ski. Nobody else in my family skis. My sister skied for a little bit. I'm trying to get her back on snow in the next few years. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But it was just me. It was pretty much just a solo thing. So trying to convince my parents to drive me out to like Western Maine to go ski at the bigger resorts was like a once in a season thing. It was a big deal to get out there, but it was always worth it to me whenever we got to go out.
What was the snowboard culture like? Like I know Seth Westcott comes from Maine, so there was, heroes from the state, but was it a pretty vibrant scene for the snowboarders when you were growing up?
There was a pretty good scene. It was more there was more people that were about my age doing it than in other age groups, is what I noticed. So it was like I had a couple of dudes who were way older than me that I would look up to, and then as soon as they like got out of school or got out of high school, they left and went off on their own lives, and I haven't seen any of them snowboarding since.
Right.
Um, it's pretty funny, the pipeline um, of snowboarding, because a lot of snowboarders will just change over to skiing once they hit a certain age, and it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a bit older than you. I remember, people used to spit on snowboarders from the chairlift, right? Or like, oh, they're sliding all the snow off the mountain. Was that still going on when you were coming up, or has that started to kind of wind down?
It's still pretty heavy. I mean, there's a few resorts on the East Coast that are still skier only, which like Mad River Glen over in Vermont. That's one of the main ones. Uh, but it is hard sometimes just because skiers are a little pretentious about their snow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
And then, like, was there a lot of black snowboarders, or were you sort of an outlier in that end of things too?
No, there was not. I had one black friend snowboarding when I was growing up, and every year I'll still get out with him, and it's really sweet. But for a long time, I was the only black person I saw on the hill.
Yeah.
Like most of high school, it was just me and my friend. And then when I got out of high school and I went to Western Maine or moved out to Western Maine, there was a couple of black people out there. Obviously, we were very good friends. Um, I mean, that's just how it goes. You see another brown face out on the slopes, and you will become friends with them.
Yeah.
Um, it's really sweet the small connections that I've made through snowboarding with people of color. There's only a couple of them, but since in the last like 4 years, I've met so many more people of color out in the mountains, and it's really it warms my heart. That's like that's the mission right there, is to see more people that look like me out there.
Yeah. And it feels like, you know, within the last couple of years, there's been a bit of a groundswell towards making that happen and organizations. I know you've done some stuff with the National Brotherhood of Skiers. Um, those cats been around for 50 years now, but was it, it up here in Canada, you know, the Brotherhood Week used to come to Whistler one day of the year. They don't anymore. I think they go to Colorado. But was that an active thing on the skier side when you were growing up? Did you know about that organization as a kid, or did you come to that as an adult?
I actually only found out about the National Brotherhood just I think 2 years ago. It's very recent in my history. I've only been to one of the summits so far. They're always a little bit far from where I am.
Yeah.
So I was actually able to get to the summit at Vail this season in February, and that was a lot of fun. I was actually teaching the uphill ski clinic, the uphill split boarding. I did the uphill race and led a couple of or avalanche education day, and then the backcountry day with snowmobile access out in Vale Pass, and that was a really fun week at the MBS. And yeah, that was a lot more than I expected. But I had no idea that any of this existed until, like this year. It was a big, big missed opportunity. I felt like growing up, it was just not at the forefront of any of the any of the outlets that I had. Really wish it had been, because I would have been a part of it for a long time.
Yeah.
But not having access to the MBS just meant that I had to do it my own way, or our own way. And that's why I was really stoked to become a part of Inclusive Ski Touring, which is a nonprofit that a friend of mine set up just to get people out ski touring. And since becoming a full nonprofit, uh, I've partnered with Outdoor Afro and gotten a lot of publicity with them, and gotten a lot of people of color out skiing with us. And that's been really sweet to see over the last couple of years, how much it's grown in not just like my community, but in like a lot of other communities.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like for you personally, you were going to ride no matter what, but you must meet these people that, you know, maybe would have been more hesitant. And if they don't see you or, you know, groups from the Brotherhood or whatever, maybe they wouldn't get out there, especially into the backcountry, which is, you know, what ski hills were 20 years ago. Now the backcountry is now, as far as representation.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's like my mission, is just to be the person that I wanted to be, or that I wanted to see when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because like there wasn't very many, like even in the X Games, you didn't see any people of color. It was just Salema Masakela
Yeah.
preaching up on X Games, and that was probably one of the biggest role models of my life, is Salema.
Right.
Just being able to know that somebody was out there, at least on the sidelines, letting us know what was happening.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, the old saying is, if you can see it, you can be it, right? So there should hopefully be good changes for this for the future. I wanna skip ahead because you did this 14-day trip to Morocco, and that's, you know, not where people wouldn't think about snowboarding in Morocco. So how did that come about?
Yeah, so Morocco is not a place on many people's lists, if any, if you're ever thinking about skiing in Africa. Uh, Usually when I say skiing in Africa, people are like, oh, like Kilimanjaro, like no,
Yeah.
Morocco. Um, yeah, so I linked up with Telly Mike through Scarpa. Scarpa athlete mentorship program is how we got linked together. He was my mentor for the last year. And when I connected with him, he was already kind of in the works with um, trying to put something together for us all to ski in Africa. And it's the group that I went out there with is a bunch of MBSers. I think all of them are from the MBS. I just have connections in the MBS, and yeah, without them, I would not have been able to ski in Africa, of
Yeah.
all places. That was easily the coolest trip of my life
They
so
those
far.
that group was on a bit of a mission. I think I read they're trying to ski on every continent.
Every continent. Yeah, there's only two left now. It's really coming quick.
And are they
Uh,
all skiers, or were you the only snowboarder, or is it's a
no
mix?
skiers and snowboarders.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody's doing ski touring or split boarding.
Yeah.
Uh, the whole Africa trip, we were splitting or skinning everywhere. We also had a couple of mule access ski days, and that was beyond belief. Just like hiking past cactuses, and you've got your skis and backpacks and everything on a mule, and you're just walking up into the mountains. It's all dusty and deserty, and you're just looking at this snowy mountain. And you're like, this is just so out of place.
Yeah. Is that
Um,
was that day trip? Are you camping out there? Or?
we did a couple of day trips. We did one overnight out in the mountains. Um, it was kind of like a fairly nice refuge, but we hiked, I think it was about 5 miles out into the mountains, and then another mile or so up into the valley to get onto the snow, and then to climb up and ski. But we did, I think it was 6 days on snow. And
What
that was
what time of year was this? Is this like midwinter or?
this was just back in March.
Right.
So the ski season there is so slow, so quick. It snows like from the end of January until like February, and then by the end of March, it's almost all gone.
Right.
Um, so like April, you're probably not skiing,
So
but it's just like a couple of months that you can get onto snow.
so I mean I did some Googling for the listeners. So this is in the Atlas Mountains, which is a 2,500 kilometer, 1,600 mile mountain chain spanning across Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco. They got peaks over 6,500 feet though. Like it's real mountains.
Oh, the highest we went up to was actually 13, or I think it was just over 12 or just under 13,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was heavy duty. Coming from sea level, I was
Yeah.
wheezing a few times. But the hardest part was honestly just dealing with the sun overhead, because
Right.
it's just so intense and it's reflecting off the snow back at you. And it's like desert temperatures. It was like 70 degrees while we're skinning up. Like we started skinning at like 70 degrees on the first day. Just, oh, it was brutal.
And the snow,
Uh,
how was the snow?
the
Spring.
snow was just, oh my gosh, it was so corn. Uh, like everybody loves skiing corn in the spring, but
Yeah.
this had like no bottom to it. It was
Right.
just like bottomless corn. It was like a corn pow day. It was unbelievable. You could carve like a foot and a half deep into the corn,
Wow.
and you could also catch a rock if you did that,
Right.
which definitely happened more than once. There's some holes in my board for sure, but all worth it for sure. Absolutely worth it. It just sounded so weird too. Like the corn just had this like shimmer sound to it, and I've never heard it before. I have not heard it since, and I've been skiing a lot of corn in my life.
Was that your first time going to Africa? Was on a snowboard trip?
Yep. My first time going to Africa was on a snowboard trip. My first time leaving this continent was on a snowboard trip
Yeah.
in to Africa.
Was that something on your radar anyhow to like, go back to Africa at some point in your life? Or was that just like, oh yeah, this is just
Yeah,
happening?
oh for sure. I've always wanted to go to Africa. There's such a gold mine of just rich culture there. And I was subject to nothing less than that. It was exactly what and it was more than what I could have imagined, and it was beyond any expectation. Uh, the love in the people there, the respect in the people there, it just felt unmatched everywhere I went, and I can't wait to go back. Just from that one trip, I've got a whole lot of missions that I could possibly get onto. I saw a little bit of ice formed in one spot or another, and that you know, if you can say that you climbed ice in Morocco,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a
Is
next step up.
I mean, over here, there's a lot of talk about and a lot of commercialization of something called mountain culture, quote unquote.
Mm.
Um, were you able to find parallels of that sort of mountain culture that we have over here while you were in, with the Berber locals in Morocco? Do they have ski hills? Do they have skiers and snowboarders or mountaineers or?
They've got some mountaineers. There's a few skiers. There is one ski area in Morocco. It's Okimadin, but because of the snowpack this year, they weren't able to open. But talking with one of the Berber guides, when I did connect a bit on the commercialization of mountain culture, it's happening there as well. Like rich people are buying up land and then just destroying it and using it for whatever they want to use it for. But it's land that is in like these villages that don't trade with people from like big cities. They just trade with each other in the village. So it's like you're really uh cutting at what they can use right from underneath them and not giving them anything. So it's really like as far as like we complain a lot about housing here, but
Yeah.
they have not they're getting everything taken from them and they're getting nothing from it back. Um, which is horrible to see, but at the same time, they're always going to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Like I saw a group of kids playing in like just a gravel pit, and they were having the time of their life. Like
Yeah. And
there's a lot of love and not a lot of need for things, just need for uh, like support.
and what's the après scene like in Morocco? Pretty good après scene or?
Oh yeah. So actually the whole trip, we had 8 bottles of wine budgeted for every single night.
Oh yeah,
And
perfect.
I think there was 12 of us,
Yeah.
which is perfect. Uh, I didn't even drink wine before I went to Morocco, but we had Moroccan wine every single night, which is great. It's great wine. Who would have thought?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
There was one spot though where we spaced out of for I think 2 nights, maybe 3 nights. Um, and it was almost like an Econo Lodge. I think it might have been owned by Econo Lodge, but it was just like a guest house. There was a few different rooms, a dining hall or two dining halls, and they had just put in a pool in actually 10 days before we got there, and it was, in the high 30s at night, so nobody had touched it yet. Uh, it's so funny. It's like everybody was wearing all the locals are wearing like puffy jackets and like layered up and all day long, and we're out there and like just getting beat on by the sun. We're in tank tops just lathering up the sunscreen, and they're like in puffies just shivering looking at us.
Buddy, buddy. I wanted to talk about your hair. I mean, obviously this is a podcast, but we should have some pictures, but you know, it's almost like the classic Glenn Blake style where, your hair's noticeable, right?
Yep.
A good high. It's not a mohawk, but it's definitely big. Um, it, have you always kept that? I mean, I know lately there's been of a lot of talk, and I think it's traditionally more among Black women, but about real black hair and all the
Mm.
historically how people have been told or forced, I guess, to suppress or inclined to suppress the real black hair. Is that anything that you had to deal with in your life, and now is this something that you're doing because of that, or is this is just how you like to rock it?
So it did come around initially about that. It was in my junior year of high school. I went to a Christian school, and they had uh, a set code of how they wanted people to wear their hair and their facial hair. So soon as I was out of that school, I flipped the switch. I started growing my hair out again. Um, and I've actually had my hair in this fade for, I think, 9 years,
Yeah,
almost 10. Yeah.
nice.
I'm not going back. I like this a lot. I think I want to keep it until it all goes silver.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Like Don King.
Yep, exactly.
I'm
I'll
in the
start
same
talking
boat.
like him too.
I seen you had a pretty sick mustache for a while there too. I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with that. I used to just have a beard because I'm making snow. I You just have a lot of snow that collects on your face.
Yeah.
Uh it just helps with the wind and the debris flying around in the winter. But a mustache is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I don't know if anybody else is, but I am, and that's what matters.
Well, I'll tell you, I always used to feel like if I was going to travel, I would grow a mustache. So in Central America, the mustache went really well, helped me integrate with the locals, make friends with the dudes. And Nicaragua, Guatemala, I was always killing it with the mustache down there. I took it to France, to the south of France, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll see how the mustache goes and an Iron Maiden vest. Complete opposite reaction though. The mustache was not beloved at the Cannes Film Festival at all. Um, I don't know if they thought I was American or what, but I was not treated uh, as nearly as welcoming as the people in Central America. I don't know. The Iron Maiden vest came through more for me one day because another rocker was like, "Oh, get in here, let's party." But yeah,
Oh my God.
it's interesting the way different parts of the world will treat you just because of your hair.
Exactly. That was what was so, I think that was one of the most significant parts about traveling to Morocco as a black person and with a group of black people. Like, we were walking around, we weren't getting bothered by people.
Yeah.
People would come up to us speaking Arabic and like asking us questions and stuff, and like we don't speak Arabic. We're just black.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was so different. You don't go anywhere and experience that. You
Yeah.
can't go anywhere else and
That
experience that.
that's probably the opposite of most trips.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Nobody's paying attention because you just look like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, as a super white dude that grew up in one of the whitest places in North America in a, expensive ski town in British Columbia, I have very little experience with anything like that. The closest is if you're a skateboarder, right? People treat you differently if you're a skateboarder. Do you skate as well, or do you just snowboard?
I used to. I have a longboard. I have a couple of longboards that I use mostly just to get around for
Yeah,
commuting. I do a lot of downhill as well, like sliding the corners and hitting, going like really fast. Like,
like full
uh,
leather suit, or
no, I don't have one, but I do go. I have been like pretty consistently at 55 miles an hour for sustained amounts of time, which is very scary. And I wish I had a leather suit,
yeah,
but you know, I got a helmet on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just don't tell
It's
my mom.
she's not listening. Don't worry.
Yeah.
um. So now you're in Alaska. You're canoeing. Was canoeing something you grew up doing as well, or
Yep, canoeing, kayaking, living on the water.
right?
Had a camp my whole life in Maine, right on the water. So it is nothing new to me. I actually
Yeah.
completely forgot to mention to my managers when I was trying to get hired that I've dropped boats before. I've towed and launched boats before, like quite a few times. I know how to drive a trailer. Had not mentioned that at all to them, and that's like three things you do every day is tow boats, drop them,
Yeah.
and pull them at the end of the day. Like
Back up
that
a
was,
trailer. Backing up a trailer is a
yeah,
pretty valuable skill.
exactly. If anybody's listening and needs somebody to back up a trailer, like I'm your man.
So your folks were outdoorsy then. You guys spent a lot of time in the wilderness when you were a kid?
Yeah, my grandparents have like 200 acres of land, and half of it is woods and half of it is fields. And, you know, just every summer, every winter, we were out there just doing something, whether it was chopping wood or playing outside. I've been outside my whole life. I have a hard time being inside for a long
Yeah.
period of time.
And now you're up in Alaska. Is that year round up there or just in the summers?
It is year round. I'd like to be able to go from Maine to Alaska a lot more frequently. Like spend, the rainy season of Alaska in Maine.
Yeah.
That's when it's not so bad in Maine. But it's a couple years down the line. I'm really feeling it in Alaska right now. I think I might be here for another winter. I do want to get back to inclusive ski touring really bad though.
Right.
But there's just so many missions that just keep popping up here left and right. There's always something to do, whether it's going out on the glacier, looking into ice caves, rappelling into ice caves. You can ice climb 365 days of the year here. I mean, you can also ski 300 at least days of the year here if you
Yeah.
wanted to. Um, you can get a helicopter ride for $67 and get dropped off on a mountain and go ski it. That's a plus.
Yeah, no,
Um,
a $70 heli drop is pretty nice.
it's very nice.
You don't get that in Whistler. Have you been able to come down to British Columbia at all, or is that still on the
I
list?
did back in the beginning of March, right before I went to Morocco. I was at Whistler for 2 days of skiing. Oh my gosh, it is extent. So I actually have some questions for you. So you've been skiing on the glaciers up there for how many years?
Yeah, yeah, since 1988.
Wow.
So 30 something years. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and the glaciers are getting smaller for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Everywhere you look,
Yeah.
they're getting smaller around here anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that's like so stark here from last summer to this summer. Like we used to we used to just be able to walk right up onto the ice on our canoe tours, but the glacier melted 900 feet last summer,
Wow.
and it's like twice the normal melt. So it's out of the lake completely right now. If we want to
Right.
get on the ice, you got to do a long hike out there.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy. But then I think you look at like Northern California where they got, whatever it was, 70 feet of snow, and the glaciers are
yeah,
there are still under snow even now, right? So
yeah,
I think generally it's going down the shitter pretty quickly as far as the future of glaciers. But there are those weird years when stuff happens.
yeah. It's like the random anomaly, the infrequent freak storm.
Yeah,
Um, it's it's a weird weather situation we're going through right now. Like, I mean, it rains a lot here in Juneau, but it rained all winter long. It accumulated snow down at sea level, 2, 3 storms.
right.
Uh, and that snow didn't last, 3 weeks. It was rained out. I had 3 feet of snow I was driving through. I had snow coming up over my windshield. It was over my hood, but a week and a half later, it's all gone. It's
Yeah.
something else.
And then
And like in
what are the old timers saying up there? Is everyone just being like, "Oh yeah, we this is different than we've ever seen."
yeah, they'll always say that like, oh, if you want snow, you need to go north now.
Right.
And that's what I came from Maine up here was for
Yeah,
more
yeah.
snow.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing that I noticed in Maine. Like I noticed it years ago. Like my birthday's in October, and we used to have frost like well before my birthday.
Yeah.
Um, and now it's like 70, 80. I've seen it 90 degrees on my birthday. in October, mid-October. It's not supposed to be like that.
Totally.
Um, and then, it's the amount of snow that's falling in on the East Coast is so much less than what it used to be. Uh, nobody's having any snow days anymore. We used to have snow days.
Yeah, yeah. At
Uh,
school, right? Sent home from school. Too
yeah,
much snow.
too much snow. Exactly. It's not
Yeah.
happening like that anymore. And it's a lot rainier. It's a lot warmer pretty much everywhere now. I just saw like the projections for El Nino for the year, and it's another year that doesn't look great for anybody.
Right. Are your winter plans already kind of set, or do you keep it loose? Have you got a few trips on the books?
I've got a lot of things that I'm looking forward to. I've got nothing set in stone yet. Trying to see about going up to around Girdwood for the winter this year. Also, still thinking of going back to the East Coast,
Right.
but also everything in between. If you do, you know Peter Smart at Whistler? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might,
He lives up the
yeah,
street.
I was gonna see about getting a job with him in Extremely Canadian because that would be really sweet.
Yeah, that's a good operation those guys have run there.
hmm
Nice,
And then
nice.
Big Sky's on the list too because the NBS Summit's gonna be there next year. Uh, it's just so many possibilities.
And how's that side of things? You're working with, more sponsors every year and a little bit more responsibility maybe, or you got to show up here and do this. Is that difficult for you to manage, or was that something that you always had on your radar when you're a little kid and have been preparing for?
I've always wanted it, but now that I'm in it, it's a lot to do. It's a lot to deal with. And plus, I'm working, you know, 40, 50 hours a week. So it's like that plus like all this extracurricular stuff.
Crap like
Um,
this.
Crap like this. I gotta get time off for interviews and stuff. It's
Yeah.
really just awful stuff. No, uh, it's it's really really sweet. It's unbelievable that I'm doing it finally. It's a lot to deal with though, and I'm trying to get my girlfriend to sign on as my manager,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, just to keep me in line.
You can see
Um,
how some people that maybe don't have that personality, have all the on mountain skills, but maybe don't have the social skills, and it just wouldn't be for them because it is a
yeah,
lot of work to manage, all these things.
it is. It's like it's an extended social life that pays you to be the best you. So as long as you want, that's what I keep saying to myself. As long as I want this, they want this too. Like
Yeah,
Mountain Hardware standing behind me wholeheartedly. Scarpa's with me. They'll push me for anything I want to do and pursue. Really really stoked with both of them and Weston for hooking it up with the snowboards and the split boards because you know
yeah.
that's a lot to pay for
And
trying to do all of these things.
how old were you when that stuff started to click into place? Was that something that you were, getting free boards as a teenager kind of thing, or was that?
No, I wish. Yeah, I wish. It really has only started in the last 2 years.
Right.
So just like 2 years ago when I got my first hard boot set up, um, I reached out to G3 because they were the first board I put my hard boot setup on, and I loved it. And I did a couple of photo shoots for them. It was really, really sweet. We have kind of since gone our separate directions, but uh, the opportunities that opened up just exploded for me. And then, it always helps if I'm getting helped, I'm helping everything around me. I'm trying to bring up inclusive ski touring every chance I get. Um, but since 2 years ago, since linking up with G3, it kind of got me sparked with Scarpa, and everything since then is just probably pretty much been because of Scarpa,
Right.
and having them put me up on their radars.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the nice upward trajectory. You're doing the work, and it's gonna hopefully only get better, and you're gonna be riding more POW than ever.
Exactly. I was doing the work before, and now I'm just getting highlighted for doing the work. And
Yeah.
that's all you can ask for.
I mean, obviously, you spend a lot of time outdoors, right? Which a lot of people consider the peace and serenity of nature. But when you're guiding, it's you're responsible for people. It's not a relaxing thing like what for someone who just goes for a walk in the woods. What do you do to sort of decompress, or when you have a bit of your own time? What are your go-tos?
My go-to. So I do a bit of mountain biking here in Juneau. It's pretty piratey trails,
Yeah.
but it's very fun. Just being out in this forest is it's very calming and peaceful. There's so much moss. You can't look somewhere and not see moss and just being surrounded by the green. I will try and go somewhere where there's not helicopters flying over me like every 20 minutes. Um, but that's not too hard. There's always just um, somewhere to go and get away from everything. Just let things quiet down. Like on my days on and my days off, I'm probably heading out to the glacier or up a mountain.
Right.
I'm really just always trying to push and move and get after it some way.
Yeah.
I have to really tell myself to take a day off when I need to take a day off. Like after this, I was thinking about going skiing. Um,
Yeah.
we still got a lot of sunlight.
Totally, totally. What about, since you're out there so much, is there any tips or tricks? What's your go-to, like, backcountry lunch, day pack lunch kind of thing?
Ooh, I'm honestly really with the classics. I'm packing, 2, 3 PB&Js, putting them in a plastic bag, smush them up a little bit. A nice big twisted single PB&J that's been just sat on. There's nothing better than that at the top of a line. But I really just love PB&Js. My number one go-to snack though is for sure Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Nothing like some good old fashioned sugar in
Has it all
inverted sugar.
has it always been that? Because I mean, that's how I get my kids up any hike that they've ever been on, right? My kid and his buddy. Is that something you've had your whole life, the classic Sour Patch Kids since day one?
Sour Patch Kids in the fanny pack.
Yeah.
That is how I roll for probably the last decade. It's been Sour Patch Kids or PB&J in the fanny pack.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
What about if you have to cook, if it's an overnighter? Are you known for your backcountry culinary skills, or is that something that still needs to be worked on?
If it's going for a few nights, I'll bring something special. Um, Maybe like an onion to put in some ramen.
Yeah.
Trying not to carry too much stuff though. That's
Yeah.
just the only thing. Uh, Backpacker meals, I will say my favorite right now is the Peak Performance meals. They've got the right amount of calories, and they make some stuff that's vegan. So
Right.
nothing better to have some vegan calories on the mountain, so I don't have to pass a solid somewhere on a big hill.
My buddy Chili always used to bring those cracked peppers, right? Super light, lots of flavor. Dump that in anything, maybe some nuts. Uh, is there a single piece of gear that a pocket knife or a compass or something that you've had your whole life, your most cherished piece of gear?
My most cherished piece of gear. Probably base layers, honestly. I've got these base layers that have just seen hell, absolute hell.
Right.
Um, yeah, they smell like hell also, but
What's
if
what's the,
if
the
it's warm or if it's cold, I'm taking those base layers with me.
what's the longest you've ever gone on one base layer
Oh,
without washing or showering?
I think 5 days,
Nice.
5 rough days. Um, Scratchy on your skin by the fifth day. By the fourth day, it's scratchy on your skin. You're just itching to get out of it. You don't even want to do anything anymore. You just want
Yeah.
to change clothes.
The
Yeah.
record the record that I know of is Gary Pendergrass, he's no longer with us, but he was a cinematographer, and they would go up to Alaska, park in a valley and just be there for as long as it took. 19 days, he told me, on one base layer one time.
Oh man.
Legend.
They probably could get up and walk away after that.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
If you could shred with anybody, living or dead, who would it be?
Ooh, living or dead. I think I really would love to ride with Salema Masekela,
Right.
my brother. But I would also really, really appreciate a ride with Jake Burton. Like one of the realest to ever do it, the guy who like started the spark in like all of us.
Yeah.
Kept the dream alive when it didn't look alive, when we were getting spat on,
Yeah.
That would be a really great ride. If it was just one, it'd be a great ride. If it was more than that, it would be, unbelievable, unforgettable. But it'd be really, really sweet to ride with him. My first real board was a bird, and my third and fourth, second, like all my original boards were all burdens. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been here. And what other company would there be if it wasn't for Burden?
Yeah. Yeah. And still crushing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like I got it. Is there anything you want to add, or is there any shout outs you want to give before we start winding it down?
No, I think
Yeah. Well, we're all good then, really.
yeah.
If you could, now that you have the attention of the world here on the Live It Up with Mountain Life podcast, if you could tell the young kids out there one piece of advice, what would it be?
One piece of advice for the kids: if you have a dream and you want it, don't stop. Don't give up on it. Because I've dreamt of snowboarding every day since I was just a wee lad, and pushed and pushed and pushed, and it took 21 years, but here I am on a podcast talking about snowboarding.
Yeah.
If you don't give up, if you keep going, not just exploring the routes that you want in your defined category, but like just expanding and just researching your own interests, you will find your outlet if you don't make it yourself. There's always a way.
Kids, you will find your outlet, and if it means hard boots, that's okay too.
If it means hard boots, it means hard boots. If it means bunions on your feet, do it.
Yeah. Awesome. So I feel like everybody should follow you on Instagram, Backcountry Bryce. Is there any other place where people can connect with you?
That's pretty much it. Backcountry Bryce on everything.
Yeah.
Also, that's my Venmo. So if anybody's out there wants to buy me some groceries.
There we go. Bryce Barnes, thank you so much for your time. And I know you're going to go get some turns, so have fun out there, man.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Feet.
A pleasure. A pleasure. Well, there we go. Wise words from Bryce Barnes. Make sure you check him out on the all the socials and all of that. Maybe buy him some groceries. And thanks so much for tuning in to the Live It Up with Mountain Life podcast. We are almost at 2 years here, and I appreciate your ear holes and your attention spans. Also appreciate Shirai Rules for the intro off the top, and Adrian Gendro for the guitar licks. We're getting good usage out of those. I don't have any inclination to switch it up either. Love those guys. In the meantime, Mountain Lifers, feel free to hit up the mountainlifemedia.ca website. All the summer content is leaking on there from all the mags across the country, and some extra special stuff as well. And the store is on there. This is our 20th anniversary of Mountain Life, so there is some special 20th anniversary gear, shirts, hats, cool stuff that you can let the world know you're down with the Mountain Life. We will be back in 2 weeks. We're sticking to the schedule. Colin will be here speaking with kayak master and perennial Mountain Life cover model, Benny Marr. which is going to be awesome. Benny's a fantastic person, and I can't wait to hear what him and Colin get into. Beyond that, mountain lifers, happy summer. Have fun out there. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy the shade. Enjoy the water. Take care of each other. Be kind. Be open to new things. And please, obey those fire bans and leave the campsite better than you found it.